This is a Louie Tee Network exclusive.
Who else could it be? Me, your man, Louie Tee. Welcome, you are in the lab room, of course. I'm your host, Luke. Thank you for joining me on the 2016 NFL Draft Prospects 101 series, your guide to some of the biggest and hottest names. The 2016 NFL Draft, we're talking safeties, and this is one of those guys that I've been kind of harping on all throughout the process. Found him at the Combine, started to do a little homework on him after seeing him at the Combine, and I was convinced this is a guy that you'll get probably in day 3 of the draft that can help someone's football team, Redskins, that needs a safety that can go and make some plays in the secondary. And so this is one of those guys that I really like in the draft at the safety position. And you've probably heard me utter his name a couple of times. I'm talking about Boston College safety, Justin Simmons. Let's talk about this prospect and what he brings to the table at the next level in the National Football League. 6'2", 202-pound safety. Love the size. Could stand to gain some more weight. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But at 6'2", that's a long, lengthy frame that can go out and make some plays on the football. Let's talk about some of his strengths and what makes him an ideal candidate for an NFL safety at the next level. Smooth defender. I look at this guy and he's just smooth on the football field. It looks easy. He's out there, his movement skills, he looks comfortable out in space. Very smooth defender is the first pro. Range as well. I don't necessarily know if he has sideline to sideline range or not. I'm not willing to commit to that statement right now, but I will tell you that he ranges well. He has good range. I don't know if his range is great. It's definitely not limitless like a Carl Joseph, a guy that can range sideline to sideline, or a Jalen Ramsey, but he is a guy that has good range. He can get to the numbers. I don't know if he can get to the sideline and make a play on the football, but he can get to the numbers and make a play on the football as a single high safety. And so he's a guy that if you make some mistakes around him, you're going to pay for some mistakes around Justin Simmons. Takes solid coverage angles in the game. When you're not the fastest guy in the world, you need to take proper angles to the football, which will help you alleviate wasted space, close the distance quickly, and allow you to make plays on the football. Just like a center fielder in baseball, tracking the baseball in the outfield, you take the proper angle, it will help you be more efficient in your pursuit of the football, or in the case of baseball, in the pursuit of the baseball. And so with Justin Simmons, he does a really good job of taking the proper angles to help him cut down the distance between himself and the intended receiver and getting to the football. So he's a guy that takes really good angles, and those good coverage angles allows him to make plays on the football, which is his next pro. And this is a guy that I think can go in and be a difference maker on your defense in the secondary. We saw a guy that to me is I wasn't a huge Kurt Coleman fan, okay? Here's a guy that had been a journeyman safety around the league, spent a lot of time with the Eagles, really hadn't done much in his career, ends up in Carolina, and he's allowed to roam the field, right place, right time type of guy. Benefited from that, had like 6 or 7, maybe even 8 interceptions last year for the Carolina Panthers in their defense. Justin Simmons is a guy, not like Kurt Coleman exactly, but he's the type of guy that he'll be in the right place at the right time and be able to make some plays in your secondary and be a beneficiary of being in the right place at the right time, making some plays on the football. Good, sound tackling technique, and for all the things I've talked about with him making plays on the football and being a guy that can be a free safety at the next level, he's a guy that I trust in the back half of my defense. As he's not a thumper. He's not looking to wall up anybody. He's just looking to get you down on the ground. And if you're asking a guy to be your last line of defense, that's all you're looking for him to do, is to make tackles back there. They don't have to be pretty. I'm not looking for you to be gritty. I'm not looking for you to knock anybody's block off. I don't care if you grab a guy's shoelace and that's what gets him down on the ground. I don't care if you clip a guy's cleat and he trips over the turf monster and he hits the ground and you were the last line of defense. I just want you to get him on the ground. And with Justin Simmons, I feel like he does that. I feel like he gets guys on the ground. And at the end of the day, when you are the last line of defense, that is all I care about. Get players on the ground. To me, his final pro, he's a prototype free safety, single high safety type of guy. You put him in the back of your defense and you allow him to make some plays for you. And he's another one of these niche safeties. I've talked about not really having a bunch of complete safeties in this draft, but having a bunch of niche guys. You're either a strong safety or you're a free safety. You look at the Killebrews or the Keanu Neals of the world. These are guys, Jeremy Cash included. These are all guys that are strong safeties in my mind that are better around the line of scrimmage than they are away from it. Then you have some guys like a Darian Thompson or a Justin Simmons, who to me are true free safeties, guys that you want to be in the back half of your defense. Doesn't necessarily have the greatest speed, but if you put them in positions to succeed, these are guys that can make plays for you in the secondary. Go look at that Notre Dame game. To me, if you're looking to see what Justin Simmons brings to the table, go look at the Notre Dame game. 2 picks in that game. He also picked off the Clemson quarterback, Deshaun Watson, as well. So this guy has a very extensive history making plays on the football against some really good big-time quarterbacks. So he's a guy not afraid of the big stage, can make some plays in that secondary. You make a mistake around Justin Simmons, you're going to pay for that mistake around Justin Simmons. Let's go to his cons. He's built like a cornerback. Remember I said we we're going to come back to that size thing? At 6'2", 202 pounds, you look at a 6'2 safety or a 6'2 player in general, you want these guys to be well up over 200 pounds. That's not always going to be the case, especially when you're talking about cornerbacks. But when you're talking about a safety, you'd prefer if a guy's 6'2 to at least be 215. And he's at 202, so you look at him and he's got a cornerback build, which again lends itself to a guy that you want on the back end of your defense, not necessarily up around the line of scrimmage trying to make plays. Again, he has a corner build. I'd love to see him put on a few pounds, get a little bit bigger, but at the end of the day, if that's going to slow him down or make him any less athletic, then leave him be and just allow him to be in the back of your defense patrolling things and not up front along the line of scrimmage as a strong safety. Again, got to be interchangeable this day and age in the National Football League, but I like his ability to play at the back end and also drop over the slot and play in some situations where you need him to be a nickel for you. Can be manipulated by savvy quarterbacks is the final con. He's one of those guys, very nosy, much like a Darian Thompson. If your eyes take him to the football, you're gonna have a problem on your hands because he's gonna make a play. But if you can manipulate him and tell him that you're going here when all along you're looking to go backside to that post, but you're staring down that 9 route up the sideline, he's gonna bite on that and you're gonna have free access to that backside post. He's one of those guys that's extremely nosy. If you take him to the football, he'll make you pay, but you can manipulate him with your eyes if you're a quarterback. And at the next level, we know some of the best quarterbacks in the league do a masterful job of manipulating safeties with their eyes. He's one of those guys that can be susceptible to that, so I'd love to see him clean up some of those situations where he goes too far with the eyes of the quarterback. And you know, sometimes it's a gift and a curse, because if the quarterback is staring down the receiver and that's where he's going and you don't follow up on that lead, guess what? You miss an opportunity to make a play. But also in the same breath, he's staring down that guy for a reason, knowing that you're going to try to go and be over aggressive, and he knows that backside post is going to be there. And on tape, he's seen you be aggressive, looking at the quarterback's eyes, keying eyes, and making plays that way. He's going to use that against you and go and make a play on you. And so that's something I think Justin Simmons needs to clean up. But if you're asked me, if you're a team looking for a free safety, a guy that can make some plays on the football, he's another one of these guys to keep in mind when talking about safeties in the 2016 NFL Draft. That's Justin Simmons and his draft prospects one-on-one breakdown. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab. Come back and join me as I continue to break down anything. And now, the National Football League. I got some more breakdowns for you, man. Stay tuned. I got a couple of surprises for you. See you next time. There's plenty more where that came from. While you're here, subscribe to the channel. If you want more Louie Tee, be sure to follow me on Twitter at In the Lab Room, or you can like the Facebook page at In the Lab Room. That's In the Lab Room on Facebook and at In the Lab Room on Twitter. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so.
Mm-hmm.